Hi and welcome to SSW TV. I'm Adam Stevenson and I'm here at Ignite on the Gold Coast and I'm with Jess Dodson. Hi Jess, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, you had a great talk this morning. It's been great at Ignite. There's been some really interesting non-technical talks. And your talk was titled Explain Yourself. What were you trying to get across?
So my talk was all about how we, as IT professionals and coming from an IT operations background, can explain ourselves to our users and to our management in a slightly better way than what we do now. So we come across pretty condescending and pretty patronising, and in some cases we can be pretty rude with how we're dealing with our end users. We forget that it's a person on the end that we're actually dealing with.
Yep.
So it was how we can phrase some of the things that we tend to say a lot in a slightly better way that makes people a little bit happier with us.
It's not hard just to say shut down and restart though.
So that's the problem. We shouldn't be restarting all the time. Restarting might mask the problem. You never know. It might prevent you from seeing the issue.
So it's really what you're saying is it's kind of, we need to be looking at how we communicate with the business or communicate with our customers, even though they might be inside the business.
Yep.
The people who are coming to us for help and talking to them in a way that, that they feel helps solve their problems.
That's exactly it. I mean, when you come into IT, you think it's just focusing on computers and not focusing on the users. We're in customer service. That's what we do. We are there to serve the customer. If we don't have customers, we don't have jobs.
Yeah.
So we've got to remember that we're there to help them. We're there to help enable them do their job better. And we can't do that if we're not being friendly with them. We're not being positive with them and teaching them and helping them do their job.
Yeah. And I mean, often it's not deliberate. So
No,
I
not at all.
know sometimes it's, customer service used to be much more in person or used to be much more phone support, where now we're doing more IM support, more email support, and sometimes it's hard to convey. You can shoot off a quick answer because it back the front, and I know that I've shot off some answers sometimes going, oh, this is pretty easy, just do this.
And that's it. It's just the one-liners and everyone's like, but...
And taken out of context, me going, if they're in person, I'd say, oh, it's easy, no dramas, just do this.
It's a totally different
In an
context.
email that comes out as, gee, it's supposed to be really easy, you're stupid, just do it.
And that's exactly it. We don't want to make our users feel like they're stupid because they're not stupid. I mean, they know what they're doing, they know their business, they're employed to do their job. We can't do their job, so why would we expect them to be able to do ours?
Yeah.
So when they're coming to us and they want help from us, we've got to remember that they're coming to us probably a little bit vulnerable. They don't want to be shown as stupid. They want to sort of learn something a little bit, and they don't want us to be mean and cruel to them and talk down to them. So we need to talk a little bit better towards them.
And even if we don't mean to sound that way on purpose.
And we don't. I don't think anyone on purpose means to. I think it's just one of the ways that we come across. It's so short, so sharp, because we've got so many requests coming in, we're trying to get to everyone at the same time, that we probably don't quite think about how we're communicating with the people that we're talking to.
And the IT crowd really hasn't helped us there, because they've all watched the IT crowd and they all think we're in the basement and we're fobbing them off on purpose.
And that's exactly it, and we're not. Most of us are actually out there. We want to help. We want to do the right thing by them. We want to help the business and get the tools out there and give them the tools they need to be able to do their job. We don't want to make things harder for them. We want to make it easier.
Definitely. So what are your tips to people out there who are in that kind of role? What are your kind of top tips around keeping your customers or keeping the business happy as a provider of service?
For me, the big one is to remember you're always speaking to a person.
Yeah.
There is always a person on the end. It's not totally impersonal, it's not anonymous. There is a person that you are dealing with.
Yeah.
So always remember that. There's a couple of ones that I did in my talk that are always really good. When we say no, explain why you're saying no, because oftentimes if you just say no, you can't do that, the user's like, well, obviously they don't want to help me.
Yeah.
If you're saying no, there's usually a really good reason behind why we're saying no. We're saying no because there's security implications or there's budget constraints, that there is an honest to goodness reason behind it. The other one is, and it's really big, particularly with our help desks and service desks, when users call in and say, I'm having this problem, and they get on the other end, oh, but it works fine for me. I've got to admit, having been on the end of that one, having called up a couple of help desks myself, it's really frustrating. Look, I wouldn't be calling you if I wasn't having an issue.
I'm not making it up.
No, this isn't in my head. So it's just remembering that you have to see it through their eyes. You've got to be sort of empathetic and understanding and actually listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, awesome.
So they're my big ones.
And there's definitely an element of education in there as well, isn't it? Like about
Absolutely.
educating them to ask questions in such a way that we can actually help them.
Well, one of the big things, and that was one of the nuggets that I actually pulled out, was that it takes 12 positive experiences to make up for a single bad one.
Yeah.
12 positive.
Yeah.
So you only need to be in a bad mood on one day,
Yeah.
and it's going to take you a week and a half of positive experience to get back to where you were before. So
Yeah.
you want to keep your users on side. You want them to trust you, to be able to come to you when they're feeling vulnerable because they don't know enough, to be able to ask you those questions and not feel stupid. If you're teaching them, they're not going to want to come to someone who's always sort of talking down to them. You want to
Yeah.
sort of talk to them, your peers.
Absolutely.
You're both subject matter experts on what you both do.
That's it.
It's just in different fields.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Excellent. Well, look, there's a heap of great tips in there. And thank you heaps for coming on SSW
Thank you very
TV.
much for having me.
And if you guys want to check out more of it, so Jess writes, you blog
I do
about
write
these
a blog.
kind of things a fair bit?
I write on both soft skills and IT pro skills. So there are a lot
Excellent.
of soft skills that I write about, including this one.
Awesome. So thanks heaps for coming on, and check out Jess's blog at girl-germs.com. And thank you for joining us at SSW TV.